Okay, so if I blindly told you to name a piece of media that molded you, that sculpted you to be the person you are today, what would you say? Because I would say Crayon Shin-Chan blindly any day of the week, any time of the day. It is one of the best anime, one of the best slice of life shows, period. We can talk about others like Doraemon and all some other day on a later episode, but I'm here to tell you why you should watch Crayon Shin-Chan. So I'd like to start by saying that I'm commenting on the whole franchise instead of one particular series of it. So this all includes the original 1990s animation, the new animation, and all of the movies that were ever produced under the name Shin-Chan. And I've watched around 15 of them, and I'd like to say all of them were very good and unique in their own right. So if you've watched the series on end, if you've watched a lot of the episodes, you'd notice a pattern. There is a formula being rinsed and repeated for every episode. Because of the episodic nature of the series, it's either a 2 episode part with part 1 and part 2 with the same plot line, or it's just one episode and done. So every episode uses this formula of a setting with different characters and a different problem to keep the show entertaining. So a really good example of this would be the Shiro episodes. Shiro, for context, is Shin-Chan's white dog who looks like a very cute little cloud. So he goes around the city of Kasakabe, has fun. Maybe it could be the context of him running away. Maybe he's just out to eat food because he was not given food. There are a lot of perspective changes to his teachers, to his friends, but the thing that tie all of these episodes together is the background presence of Shin-Chan. He's always present, even though for a bit you feel like he's breathing down your neck the whole time. That's how connected it feels, because the episode takes place at part because of him, because of some of his action, because of his involvement, which is very fun to watch. You feel like the whole story you're seeing, the whole episodic story or the episodic plotline you're witnessing is not individual parts of a random story. They feel like they're the same part of the same world with the same people. And there are multiple running gags in the show, which are very rewarding to watch as a long time viewer, but they can be extremely funny as a new time viewer because sometimes they're so out of context that you just wonder how did they make that joke. A really good example of this would be Shin-Chan's dad's socks that smell extremely bad, that they could probably revive a dead person. They definitely kill living people. Another one of the running jokes is when Shin-Chan calls his kindergarten principal gang leader anytime he sees him, and even though he's a very innocent, very lovable character, just because of his looks, everyone who hears Shin-Chan say gang leader gets very intimidated, thinking that he's a Yakuza member and not the sweetheart that he is. So before I start talking about my favorite part, the movies, there are minor spoilers of Shin-Chan movie Robot Dad ahead, and I'm going to put timestamps to where the spoiler is so you know exactly what to skip, because I'm going to start talking about the movies in general and how they work so well with the series before I actually get to the spoilers. To explain why I really like the movies as a part of the franchise is because they contrast the series and the nature of the series very well. Each episode in the series is bound to be light-hearted and have a self-containing plot that does not go overboard in how long it can be. But because the movies are not any self-contained arcs of the series, they get a lot more freedom in what they can do, how they can do it. They don't really have to be consistent with the tone of the series. Even though they do have an underlying happy, the jolly tone that the series has, it invests a lot more time into the plot. It invests a lot more work into the emotions felt. It's not just a heartfelt slice of life comedy. It is a really self-contained 2 hour long experience that contrasts the series excellently. This harmony and contrast is not more visible than in the movie Robodad and the story of Moving. These two stories show the light-hearted sense, the light-hearted tone of the original, while deepening a few more emotions of sorrow and dread. When I was watching the scene that's on the screen right now, I was practically in tears. Even though I've watched this movie around 5 times, everything, every factor that made that scene so great got me to tears once again, which is the beauty of the series and how it can make you feel. It's not just one note characters. These characters have been fleshed out very well. You know how they are and how they will behave in a situation. But sometimes that predictability makes it much more fun and consistent. Sometimes one scene that breaks the norm of how they would act works as character development, makes them feel like they've grown quite a bit. So at the end of the Doc Tama Tama movie, it was flabbergasting to see how much Shin-Chan had grown in the past 1.5 odd hours. I could simp over these movies for hours on end, but I think you get the point what I was trying to convey. Not just that, I'd also like to say that all of these characters are so strong that they individually, or a few of them, can carry the show very well, at least for multiple episodes on end. It's so interesting to see these kids, to see these adults, to see these people have fun or just be annoyed by the shenanigans of Shinosuke or Shin-Chan. And that is exactly why you should watch Crayon Shin-Chan and its movies. Thanks for watching. Well guys, this was a different type of video than last time. This was more of a review, or actually it was more convincing you why you should watch this amazing series. Last video was telling me about myself, and I'm going to try to get a system up where I upload a story time or an animation, technically animatic, on Thursdays and put out a rant or some other video that I want to make on Sundays, which feels pretty odd because I haven't consistently uploaded ever. This is my first time being consistent on this platform, and I really appreciate you for watching this video. And if you are to this point and you have watched Shin-Chan, please let me know what your favorite movie or maybe even episode was down in the comments. It would be really appreciated, and it might even help my reach, as I am trying my best to get somewhere with this because it's fun to be on the internet. Anyways, that was the end of the video, and if the next video is out, you can check it out on the same channel. And if you haven't watched the previous video and this is your first video you're watching from me, welcome to this channel, and do check out the previous video. It is my introduction, and I would really appreciate if you stayed and subscribed. I'm trying to have as much fun here as I can, and hopefully you can too. So it's time to say bye-bye. Bye.